Hey everybody, happy Sunday, although is Sunday really a happy day because it means that Monday's right around the corner. Blech, weekend always goes too fast. So it's been a while since I've done a lot of practice, mainly because my knee is still healing, so that is a problem, and I've been having some issues with my wrists lately, but I figured why not, because what do I always preach to you guys, at least when I was teaching, is use your props and modifications if you need to. So that's what we'll do. So if you want to join in live, of course have your props, and if you're going to watch later, then you can have your props then too. Have your props and eat it too. So just remember that if we do something that is not in your wheelhouse for this day, is not, your body's just like, no way, then do something different or just skip over that part and, I'll move on to something else. So it's all good. And so let's go ahead. I'm not going to do this every time I do a practice because honestly, I don't do sun salutations in my own practice. It's just, I don't know. It's not really my thing. But we'll go ahead and do them, today, and I don't know. But this time, I'm going to turn to this wall, not that wall, so that you don't get my back end view. That's all right. All right, so let's go ahead and find yourself a wall, wherever you happen to be, and bring your feet to hip width apart or wider if you need to. You're always welcome to go wider on your mat. Let's come into mountain pose, bringing your arms down by your side. Just start to get the breath. Nice deep breaths in and out of your nose. Really rooting your feet down into the earth. And of course, make sure that you have enough room between yourself and the wall so that you don't hit your head on the way, because that would suck. On your next inhale, let's bring the arms up. Interlace your fingers with your index fingers pointing. On the exhale, we're going to bend to the left. Then we'll inhale back to center. And exhale, bend to the right. Inhale back to center. Separate your hands, soften your knees, and fold forward. That nice forward bend. Feels good. Letting your head lead you on the inhale, rise back to standing. Palms come together, hands into your heart. Step to the wall. Extending your arms fully. On the exhale, bring it down with a kiss. And then inhale, coming back up. Then on your next inhale, we're going to take the left leg back, lengthening through that heel. Remember to check your alignment of your leading knee to make sure it's over your ankle, not going past it. Just breathe. And we're going to inhale, coming back up. And on your next inhale, taking your right leg back. Once again, lengthening out through that heel, that nice runner's lunge, which I do quite a bit because it does help with the plantar fasciitis. I'm still getting there. Every day, it's a challenge. Inhale, coming back up, and exhale, walk out into half down dog at the wall. Remember, if you need to adjust your arms down so that your back is a little more level, feel free to do so. Then we're going to inhale, coming back up, step away from the wall. Inhale the arms up, exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the shins, exhale, fold, and inhale, rising back up, bringing the palms together, hands into your heart, into Anjali Mudra. On the inhale, taking your arms out to the side and up to the ceiling, interlace your fingers, index fingers pointing. On the exhale, we're going to bend to the right this time. Inhale back to center, and exhale, bend to the left. Inhale back to center, separate your hands, soften your knees, fold forward. Just let your head hang down. Inhale, bringing the head up first, palms come together, hands into your heart, step to the wall. On the exhale, bending those elbows, coming down. Kiss is optional, but it's your wall and you're by yourself, so who really cares? Extending back up. On your next inhale, taking your right leg back. least I think you're alone. Who knows? Maybe you're practicing with somebody else. Lengthen. And then inhale, stepping up. And on your inhale, take your left leg back. Try not to trip over your props, because that would not be good. We all know that I've done it before. And inhale, coming back up. And exhale, walk out to half down dog. Lengthen tailbone across the room. Whew. Then we're going to push up. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise back to standing. Hands into your heart, into Anjali Mudra, and down by your side. So I'm going to go ahead and get prepared before we continue. I know that my right knee is super tender right now. So I'm going to go ahead and open a blanket and just fold it in half so that I don't have to mess with it while I'm in my practice. Sometimes I forget to do that, and then I'm like in one hand down dog trying to get it, which is kind of funny. But I can do it. I can. All right, so let's come back into, I won't get too close because then you can't see me. Come back into mountain pose. That's what this is. Once again, getting your breath. Relax your shoulders. Root your feet down into the mat. Take your time getting your breath. This is where you're setting yourself up for your entire practice. The sun salutations, if you're doing them, are just a quick opening. This is where you really start into it. When you're ready, on the inhale, let's bring the arms up, palms come together. On the exhale, soften those knees, folding forward. This time, you're going to bring your hands either to the mat, to blocks, or to the back of your legs. Let your head hang down. Of course, you're free to bring your hands to your shins if you want to come into half down dog, if that feels better for you. If you're in full down dog, just let your head hang down. If you want to grab hold of opposite elbows, you can sway side to side or hang heavy in pendulum pose. Now, I know not everybody likes to sway side to side, but if you want to just hang heavy, it gives you a different stretch. But of course, you're welcome to just stay in your forward bend. Just breathe, keeping those knees nice and soft. And then we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. I'm going to step forward just a little bit. On your inhale, you're going to take your right leg back. Turn that back foot to 45 degrees. High, up close and personal. Inhale, rise into warrior two. Woo! Making sure one arm is out in front, one arm is in the back, and your body is at center. So you're not chasing your camera or your phone. Nice deep breaths. Yes, I can actually do warrior two now, so on most days. So I'm pretty happy with that. And remember that back pinky toe can be kind of rolled out to keep that foot flat. Otherwise, it starts to lift up. We just breathe. Nice deep breaths. On your inhale, we're going to take the right hand down the back leg. The left hand will go up into the sky into reverse warrior. Viparita. Virabhadrasana. I have to think about it. I don't talk Sanskrit to myself a lot, so maybe I need to do it more often. Just nice deep breaths. You can look up or down, that's up to you. Then we'll inhale, coming back up into warrior two, straighten the front leg. On the exhale, we're going to hinge out, coming into triangle. Taking your left hand either to your shin or to the mat or to the block. The right arm goes up to the sky. Just make sure your chest stays open. If you start to go to the floor like this, then you're down too far. So look what happens when I do that. So we're going to stay up. It's not about reaching the floor. You guys know that. Then we're going to look down to the mat exhale that top hand down, frame each side of the left foot and turn the back foot forward. So I'm going to transition this through down dog. You can, if you don't want to do down dog, just push off of the back leg and bring it up to join the front. But if you're going to go through down dog, we're going to take the left leg back. We're now in downward facing dog. We're going to look up to the top of the mat, and on the inhale, we're going to bring the right leg up, getting it there any way you can, even if you have to drag it along. You can always drop that left knee and bring it forward. That's usually easier for a lot of people. Then turn the back foot to 45 degrees. Inhale, we're coming back up into warrior two. Once again, making sure the body is at center. The right knee is stacked over the ankle. Arms are up level. Remember, if your shoulders ever feel like they're up in your ears, just turn your palms up, relax your shoulders onto your back, and then turn your palms back down. Just breathe. Nice strong warriors. Then we'll inhale, reversing the warrior, taking the left hand down your back leg. The right arm up to the sky. Once again, you can look up or down. Inhale back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. On the exhale, we're going to hinge out, coming into triangle. And just remember, in triangle, you don't want the booty too far back or the pelvis too far forward. You know, just kind of line it up nice. Then we're going to exhale that top hand down. One hand on each side of the right foot. Turn the left foot forward. This time we're just going to go ahead and push off, coming back into your standing forward bend. Knees are soft. Then let your head lead you. We're going to rise back to standing. Whew. It's getting a little warm in here. But I can't turn the ceiling fan on because if I lift my arm up, I'll chop my hand off. And you know it would happen to me. So we're just going to leave that off. All right, so today for balance, I'm going to do a balance challenge, which I don't think I've done in any of my lives. So, you know, I used to do them in the studio all the time. So we're going to start with tree, and then we're going to go into baby dancer. So remember, you can do one or the other or both. It's up to you. Use your props if you need to. Use the wall if you need to. But most importantly, find your focal point and breathe. So when you're ready, you're going to find your focal point, starting on a strong left leg. Make sure that that thigh is nice and strong. Breathe. You're going to take your right foot either with the toes to the floor, the foot to the shin, or you can bring it all the way up into the thigh. Okay. If you want to grow your tree, feel free, wherever you want to be. Just remember, see, I just touched the ceiling fan, that your center of gravity is lifted when you do this. So if you have balance issues, you probably want to keep your hands fairly low, maybe in prayer or even down by your side. So keep breathing, keep focusing. When you're ready, you're going to reach down, grab hold of your right foot with your right hand, and open up into baby dancer, maybe. When you're ready to come out of it, or when your body tells you to, go ahead and release the right leg. And then find your focal point once again. Nice, strong right leg this time. Then we're going to bring the left foot up to wherever you want it to be, whether it's toes to the mat, to your shin, or to inside of your thigh. If you're on the inside of your thigh, or even somewhere else, try to make sure that the knee stays back instead of coming forward. If you want to wrap the toes around the back of your leg, you can. It's up to you. Oh, and then I hit the ceiling fan again, which is why it's off. I'm a tall person in a short ceilinged room. Just breathe. Keep that focal point. Whether your vision is soft or whether it's steadily gazing, you want to keep that focal point. Then when you're ready, release your hands. Grab hold of your left foot with your left hand and open up into baby dancer. Ooh. And if you wobble, that's okay, you're a dancer. Try to recover it. That's where the wall comes in handy sometimes. And then when you're ready, release the arm, release the leg. So as you can see, my balance is a work in progress. With my feet, the way that they feel, my balance has really been affected. But I'm trying to do a balancing pose every single day to make sure, even if I have a really short practice, to make sure that I'm getting that balancing in. And I know a lot of you have told me that you have an easier time balancing when you're home by yourself than when you were in the studio. So use that to your good effect. All right, so we're going to come back towards the top of our mats. Coming back in a mountain pose. On the inhale, let's bring the arms up. And if you want to pause for a beat and kind of stretch back, feel free. And then exhale, we're going to soften the knees and fold. Bringing the hands down to the mat, and we're going to walk out into downward facing dog. So this has been a little bit difficult for me because of my wrist. So one of the options that you can do, one of the modifications, is to come down onto your forearms. And then it's more of like a dolphin. So in this case, you would widen your legs out, probably to the width of the mat, and still have your knees nice and soft. Shift your buns into the air, drop your head. So it's like a baby downward facing dog, but really this is kind of dolphin pose. But it doesn't put any stress on my wrists. Everything's in my forearms. Now, this is going to make it a little bit tricky when we come into pigeon because I don't have the clearance, so to speak, for my legs. So I'm going to go ahead and take my left leg up to the sky. Breathe. And then we're going to gently bring that left knee up to the top of the mat. So in this case, I then have to come back onto my palms. I'm going to put the blanket under my right knee because I know it's not going to feel very good. So I did have to come up onto my palms just a little bit as I went into pigeon, but not enough that it's really bothering me. My pigeon is progressing, so I'm kind of happy with that. So let me just adjust that blanket a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and come down onto my bolster and my forearms because I don't want to stress my wrist. Of course, if you want to stay up on your hands, that's fine. Just remember to listen to your body. I can't stay in pigeon super long because my right leg, especially where the hip and the leg join in my groin, really doesn't feel so great. So I just kind of am going to breathe here for a few breaths. So I'm not all the way into my pigeon as I traditionally would be, but I've made progress, so that's good. Every day is a work in progress. All right, so I'm going to come back up and move the bolster out of the way. This is going to be the tricky part because I'm back on my forearms. I'm going to turn my right foot, the toes under, and I'm going to push back just into dolphin. I'm not going to try and go into three-leg down dog or three-leg dolphin or anything like that because it would just be too difficult. So from here, I'm going to take my right leg up, lengthen out. I'm still on my forearms, breathe. And then I'm going to bring that right leg through. I do have to come up onto my palms once again, lengthening the left leg out behind me. I'm really on my fingertips at this point, which does not stress my hands. I don't know what it was a few weeks ago. That cold snapper really did my wrist in, and I had a lot of problems after that. So I'm going to come down onto my forearms once again and just breathe it out. I feel so good to be in pigeon. Love it. Since I'm not all the way onto the floor, I'm literally just kind of keeping my head level, keeping my back flat, and breathing. All right, then I'm going to turn the toes of the left foot under and see if I can get back into dolphin. There we go. The key to dolphin really is getting the feet out to the width of the mat instead of having them closer in like you would in down dog. So then I'm going to drop my knees on an exhale, but I can't stay here very long because it hurts. So I'm going to come down onto my belly. Yeah. Bring the hands to the base of your chest. Guide your elbows in. Tops of the feet are flat. The knees are lifted. Let the breath raise and lower you in cobra. Just breathe. Nice deep cobra. Then exhale all the way down. Let's cross the arms out in front of us, resting your forehead on your arms. You're going to turn your feet or your toes out to opposite sides of the room. And if you want to bend your knees a little bit, you can as we come into Crocodile Makarasana. I can almost hear Kelly slapping her hands together. Just really feeling the breath expand your belly. And at the end of your exhale, bring your legs back together. We're going to bend the knees, taking the feet up into the air. And on the exhale, you can just windshield wiper your legs. You can keep your head, your forearm, or forehead on your arms. And just let your legs sway back and forth. As deep or as shallow as you want. Just giving a little workout to your hips. Then we'll bring the legs back to their starting position. Bringing your hands back to the base of your chest, or you can bring your forearms back to the mat, whichever you want. Drop your knees to the mat, and we're going to push up, coming onto either all fours or your forearms and your knees. And then you can rest back into child's pose or come into happy puppy, whichever you prefer. So just remember, if you're in child's pose, you're going to keep your toes together, widen your knees as much as you need to, and rest your hips back towards your heels. If you're in happy puppy, you're going to take your arms way out in front, drop your chest and your forehead to the mat, buns in the air. And then we'll exhale and come back in. I'm still propped on my blanket just to help my knee. So I want to go ahead and take the two blocks, and we're going to do shoulder stretch on the blocks. So if you don't have blocks, just do another pose. Not sure what to tell you on that. But if you've got your blocks, go ahead and grab them, take them to whichever height you want. I like mine on the high side, but if you want to go down on the medium side, that's fine. I wouldn't go down to the low side because that's going to be too low. Bring the hands together and onto the top of your back, and then we're going to come down onto the blocks, adjusting your arms wherever you need them to be. You can let your head drop between the blocks, or you can keep your head level so that you're staring at the floor. That's a bit of a different stretch. Just kind of make it your own, play with it. Breathe. You've got your legs under you. And if you need to widen out your knees here, go ahead and do it.
Last time I did a live, I got busted by the Facebook police for playing unauthorized music, so I'm not playing any music today. I don't know if y'all could ever hear the music when I was playing it, but whatever. Like, okay, I'm not going to get in trouble this time. Just relax, breathe. And then at the end of your exhale, come on back up.
We'll move the blocks off to the side and come to seated. I'll go ahead and move that blanket off to the side. Let's extend both legs in front of us, flexing the feet. Pull the buns out from under you. That good old butt luggage, we're going on a trip. We'll bring the hands down to the mat beside us. And again, you can either push very gently into the mat, or in my case, I'll just bend my elbows, rest my hands very gently on the mat. Relax your shoulders, sitting up nice and straight. As we sit in Dandasana, staff pose, just breathe. Remember, if you need a little bit of space as we go into our seated forward bend, to widen your legs out a little bit. You don't want to go as wide as a wide leg seated forward bend, obviously, because that's a different pose. But you can go to the width of the mat if you need to. On the inhale, let's bring the arms up. They're going to be shoulder width apart. Lengthen, reaching for that ceiling. On the exhale, folding from the top of your thighs. Coming into your seated forward bend. So take your hands either to your feet if you can comfortably reach them. Don't be grabbing for anything you can't reach comfortably. You can take your hands to your shins, to the mat, or of course you can use your strap. Always use your props to help you. If you're using the strap, make sure that your elbows are guided back by your side. That way your hands and your arms are doing the work, not so much your upper body, which tends to collapse you. Try to keep the crown of your head lined up down your spine. Back is nice and flat. Just breathing, keeping your pose nice and fluid. The breath helps you to come up and down. Whether that's a big motion or a small motion, it doesn't matter. On your next inhale, let's bring the arms out in front of us. Bringing the arms up, interlace your fingers with the index fingers pointing. Keep your head between your arms. And on the exhale, we're just going to round the spine into Mirror Dandasana, spine pose. Just coming into the shape of a C, kind of. You start to feel your body shaking. That's okay. Embrace the shakes. Then we'll inhale, coming back up. Exhale, fold back down. Wiggle your buns out from under you because they got squinched when we went into that. Back into your seated forward bend. And then at the end of your exhale, coming back up. Let's go ahead and bring the right foot flat to the mat, and you can keep it down by your shin or bring it up into the inner part of your thigh. But you don't have to have the foot right next to your thigh. If it's more comfortable, have it a little bit away so that you've got some distance. We'll bring the right hand behind us. Inhale, bringing the left arm up, and exhale, let's twist into Marishasana 3. Nice tall spine. Either wrapping your arm around the knee or taking the arm to the outside or just holding on to the knee with your hand. Back hand is just light support. You can look to the side or over your shoulder. at the end of your exhale, turn forward, extend the right leg back out onto the mat, bring the left foot flat to the mat, and again, if you need to leave some space between the foot and the thigh, go ahead and do so. Left hand behind you, inhale the right arm up, exhale, twist. Ah, that feels good. Keep the breath going. And then on your exhale, let's turn forward. Let's go ahead and widen the legs out this time. You may have to move some props out of the way. We're going to keep the feet flexed, pull the buns out from under us. Rotate the thighs so you get a little bit of a forward tilt, kind of like a pitcher of water. Hands to the mat in front of you. Nice deep breaths. On the exhale, walking forward. You can either come down or work your way down to the mat if you want, which can take some time if you're capable of doing that. You can keep your hands out in front of you. You can be sitting up this high. It doesn't matter. If you want to take your two big fingers to your big toe, or your first two fingers, two big fingers, to your big toes, feel free to do so, but only do that if it's comfortable for you. If you've really got to struggle to get there, then it's not worth doing it. We want to keep the crown of the head lined up down the spine. The back is flat. And we're just breathing in Upavista Konasana, wide legs, seated, forward bend. And over time, the more you stay in this, the more you might find that the groin starts to loosen up, the connective tissue starts to loosen up, and you can get a little bit closer to the floor. You may not find that at all. I usually find that will happen if I stay in it for about 5 minutes. And that's where your timer can come in. So I mentioned a while back, probably several months ago, maybe, I don't know, I'm losing track of time, about getting an app for your phone, or in my case, I've got it on my tablet, that's a timer. And it lets you set different intervals of time. So you can set that if you want to do a pose for longer than normal. You can set it for your Shavasana. That's what I use it for mostly. But if I go into wide leg seated forward bend and I want to stay there for any period of time, I'll set that timer. And then I don't have to worry about how long I've been in it, because it's going to make a noise when my time is up. So mine gongs at me, but it's got a lot of different sounds I can choose from. But just breathe as you go into it. But I find that timer is really helpful when you're practicing on your own, because obviously I'm not there to tell you it's time to come out of a pose. And if you want to hold a pose longer, or in Shavasana, you want that time, and you don't want to have to be checking your watch or your phone or whatever. At the end of your next exhale, walk your hands back in, gently releasing the legs one at a time, pulling up between the knees, relaxing the shoulders into birthing the baby pose. That's what I always think of with this one. Then we're going to go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. Adjust your heels to wherever you need them to be in relationship to your pelvis. So this one is still very much a work in progress for me. Bound angle, I have a real hard time with it, just because my knees won't relax, my hips won't relax, nothing's going to relax. So I'm going to keep my feet way out in front, but if you can bring your feet closer into your pelvis and that feels good, go ahead and do it. Hands around your ankles, or interlace your fingers around your toes, resting your elbows, and then exhale, pulling down. The back is flat, head is neutral, the neck is neutral. Just breathe. If you've got your feet pulled in closer to your pelvis and it starts to feel uncomfortable, then just bring them out a little bit further. You can even go as far as coming into a diamond shape, which in Yin Yoga, this would actually be called diamond pose. And Yin Yoga is just kind of a variation of gentle restorative yoga. Everything is held longer, and using props for everything. Let's exhale, walk the hands back in, gently bringing the knees together. And we're going to come down onto our backs. So, of course, if you've got a clippy or a ponytail, it's probably time to take that out. And make sure that you've got your strap with you, because we're going to do a little strap work. And so let's go ahead and come down onto our backs. Oh, that feels good. Okay, so bring your feet flat to the mat, and we're going to take the right ankle onto the left leg or knee, just below the knee. So I'm going to turn a little bit sideways so that my voice doesn't get too distorted. So I'm going to bring my right ankle onto my left thigh. You can keep it right there, or you can pull the ankle all the way down into your hip flexor, which will give you a much deeper stretch. And for a lot of you, that's not doable. Remember, when we're going into Eye of the Needle, which is what we're about to do, just make it your own. So if Eye of the Needle doesn't feel good, you can go into Dead Pigeon or Resting Pigeon, either one that you like. I mean, it's the same pose, but... So let's inhale, bring that left leg into your chest. So you're going to have your left hand to the outside of the leg. The right arm goes between the two legs. You can stay right here in Eye of the Needle. If you prefer, you can take your left leg up to the sky into Resting or Dead Pigeon. Or if you need to do some kind of combination where you're like grabbing hold of your feet and pretzeling your legs, whatever feels good to you is what you need to do, you know? And I know Nicole does this a certain way with her feet both pulled in. Kelly found that that was a good way for her because she never got anything out of this until she tried that. So don't be afraid to modify your poses. You know I'm all about modifications. You know, as long as you're within reason. I mean, don't like turn Eye of the Needle into like crow pose or something because that would be crazy. And if you do that, please get it on video and send it to me because I want to see how you did it. All right, let's exhale the left foot down to the mat. Cross the right leg completely over the left. Both arms out to the side of the body. On the exhale, we're going to twist down to the left into your cross-leg spinal twist, making sure that your shoulders stay on the mat. You can look up to the ceiling, or you can look over your right shoulder to continue the twist. If you want to take your left hand to your knee for a little bit of added weight, feel free. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Just rest and breathe. And remember, if you feel like your right hip is not relaxing enough, just release the left leg out just a little bit, and that should relax your right leg enough to let your hip relax. Then we're going to inhale, bring the knees back up, uncross the legs. We're going to bring the left ankle onto the right leg. Reaching the arms through and to the outside, we're going to bring that right knee into the body. And again, if you need to pretzel yourself in some way, do it. If you want to take your right leg up to the sky, feel free to do that. Whatever is going to feel good for you. Then we'll exhale that right foot down to the mat. Cross the left leg over the right. I got all kinds of props in the way right now. Arms out to the side. On the exhale, we're going to twist down to the right. Keeping your shoulders flat to the mat. You can look up to the ceiling or look over your left shoulder to continue that twist. Then we'll inhale, bringing the knees back up, uncross the legs. Let's bring the knees into the chest. You can either cross your ankles and rock in cradle rock, or you can come into happy baby, Ananda Balasana. So if you want to do that, take hold of the feet. You'll have the hands to the outside of the feet, the elbows to the inside of the legs. The knees are bent and the feet are in the air, and then wide them out. Not my favorite pose, so I'm not going to do it. Plus it doesn't feel good right now, so I'm really not going to do it. I'm just going to rock in cradle rock because it feels good. You can rock in happy baby as well, because it is your practice. Your yoga teacher told you so. Then we'll come to a stop. Uncross your legs, bring them back into your chest if you're in happy baby. Grab your strap, take it around the balls of your feet. One hand in each hand. Let's inhale, taking the legs up into reverse pose, making sure your feet are flexed. Your legs are straight. Elbows are down by your side. Just breathe. Now let's exhale, widen the legs out into a V. And then if you want to rock, feel free. You might roll over, that's okay. If you put your elbow down, that should stop you. I usually kind of keep my elbows bent when I'm doing this, because that way if I start to roll too far, my upper arm will catch me. One more rock from side to side. And then we'll come back to center, bring the legs back together. Let's keep the right leg in the strap, take the left leg down onto the mat. You can take your foot flat to the mat, your left foot, or you can lengthen the leg all the way out. Take your left arm out to the side of the body. Both ends of the strap obviously are in your right hand now. We're going to exhale and take the right leg down to the right. It may not reach the floor, and that's okay, or it might. You can prop it up on your bolster, you can prop it up on your block, whatever you want to do. What I find is helpful is that sometimes your right butt cheek will get stuck. So if you have your left foot flat to the mat, you can push into that foot, lift your buns, and settle them back down so that each bun is equally placed on the mat. That puts less strain on the right leg. And then if you want to go ahead and lengthen your left leg out, you can, or you can keep the leg bent with the foot flat to the mat, which right now helps me because this is kind of a little bit of a stress on my right groin. If I keep my left foot flat, that does help. So that's a good modification for me right now. In the past, I could take my left leg out and I actually got a better stretch, but not now. So always listen to your body, you know that. Then we're going to inhale the right leg up, switch the strap into the left hand, the right arm to the outside of the body, and lengthen out your left leg if the foot's flat. My leg's so long I just hit the wall and I got nowhere to go. Okay, scoot back. Now we're going to take that right leg down to the left. In this case, I have my elbow to the mat, and I'm using my elbow and my left hand to support and hold that leg up in the sky. You're not going to more than likely rest that foot on the mat because it just won't feel comfortable. And that's not what we're going for in this part anyhow. What we want is a stretch in the hip and the glute. And sometimes if we go down all the way, it's just too far. So don't try that. Then we'll inhale that leg back up. Bring the left leg up into the strap. Man, I'm running into all kinds of props here. And the right leg will come down to the mat. Right arm out to the side of the body. The left leg goes out to the left. Of course, the strap is in the left hand now. And then adjust your buns using your foot if the foot's flat to the mat. And then if you want to lengthen that right leg out, you can. Once again, I've hit the wall, so I have to scoot back a little. This room is not really very big. It's the smallest of our 3 bedrooms, but is sufficient for me. It's just kind of hard when I got the camera going to get you where you can see me. But you don't really need to see me, you just need to hear me, so it's all good. All right, let's inhale that left leg up, switch the strap into the right hand, and exhale, taking the leg across to the right. The left arm comes out to the side of the body. Just breathe. Hopefully getting that nice stretch in your hip and your glute. Then we'll inhale the leg back up, bend the knee, release the strap, and roll gently to one side. I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and come into Shavasana now. So get whatever props you need, whether you want bolsters, blankets, eye pillows, anything like that. You're gonna go ahead and come onto your backs and take the legs out to the width of the mat. Let your feet and ankles roll out to the side of the body. And then if you want bolsters under your legs or under your lower back or wherever you want them, if you want your blanket, Mary, if you got your Snuggie, I know I'm not there to tuck you in, but do the best you can. And then close your eyes and bring your breath back to its natural rhythm. And I just want you to relax into the mat with each exhale, releasing your body down further and further into the mat till you're completely relaxed. Just let the mat support you. Let's gently start to put some movement back into your bodies. Very slowly coming out of Shavasana. When you're ready, rolling to one side and rest there for a breath or two. Then you can come back to seated, back into easy pose, Sukhasana. Bringing your hands back to your knees, or you can bring them into Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. My final thought for today is that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Not just attention to others, but attention to yourself as well. So be generous to yourself as well as to others, and pay attention to what your body tells you. Pay attention to what you're hearing up here, but only if it's nice, positive thoughts. Speak positively to yourself. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and joining me today, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your evening and has a great week next week. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Miss you.